They're all plugged in.
One is really good at that. Oh, good. So I yeah. Oh, you're asking a question. Yeah.
I call this meeting to order at 4:09 p.m.
Very diversity. Video. Oh, here.
Isaac? Shad? Hedna? Here. Caitlin? Here. Asia? Shul?
Yeah.
Javier?
Here.
Ariana? Here. Ume? Here. Ian?
Here.
Megan? Tammy? Here. Benjamin?
Here.
Williamson?
Here.
Leandre?
Here.
Christopher Lee?
Here.
Christopher Blue?
Here.
Aaron?
Here.
Ethan? Ria? Here. Adrian? Here. Jenna? Jenna? Jason?
Okay. Nicholas,
Here.
Kate, here. Matthew's here. Daniela, here. Jennifer. Jennifer.
Moving on to the approval of minutes, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from October 18th, 2023?
I move to approve the minutes of October 18th, 2023.
I second.
Moved by Javier, seconded by Chris Blue. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the minutes are passed. Moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments today? Adrian.
Okay, everybody, in case you didn't know, the VTA event is tomorrow from 3 to 4:30 p.m. in conference room A. Please come, especially if you want a FHDA, line established. It's not like there won't be a speaker on it, but if students come there and mention it, the more people that say it, the more likely it'll be to actually happen. So please come, please speak up about that if you're passionate about it.
Anna?
Resource fair is next week, Tuesday. So it is the 4 hours and a meeting. And yeah, it's on the 31st from 11 to 2. And you guys can also sign up for your field hours, for volunteering.
Any other public comments? Leandre?
So, HPSA, TSA, JSA, and MSA are having a Halloween costume party, on 29th of October from 4 to 8 at EX Bar. So if you're interested, just go to HPSA IG. I think the link is about to sign up.
Priya?
Mentors at the end is having a Halloween mix fair next Tuesday on the 31st from 1 to 3 p.m. And Communication Village is open to all mentors and mentees. And it's just the Halloween theme mix fair with games and prizes to meet for mentors.
Jason.
Phi Theta Kappa will also be having an event this Friday. And this Friday's theme will be on resources. So it's a good way to come in and get introduced to resources before actually moving to the resource.
Are there any other public comments? Seeing no further public comments, we'll be moving on to advisor announcements.
All right, happy Wednesday. So we have the sweatshirts here. So at the end of the meeting, we will be passing them out. Okay, so don't leave until you get your sweatshirts. And then Dennis will not be joining us. He is still feeling a little bit under the weather, and he's going to be chaperoning the folks that are going to Seesaw this weekend. So I told him he just needs to rest. Okay, that's it.
Look. Okay.
Central C is having a Halloween contest at Martinell College on Monday, October 30th from 4 to 8 p.m. If anyone's interested.
Maritza or Dana, would you have any other advisor announcements?
Dana, do you have anything to?
Yes, we have a flea market on November 4th and the mini flea market on November 14th.
And I just say I'm still very slowly catching up on emails. So, if you're able to come by and just give me a reminder as a person, that definitely helps to get things moving. If I could just put out an ask to everyone, if we could kind of like tighten up the screws a little bit with marketing, right? And that's not specific to marketing committee, that's everybody, right? So if you are submitting a request to marketing, you're doing it in advance to give them enough time, and you're making sure that the time and date and all that information is correct before you submit it. All that stuff. You're being clear on who's the host. You're being clear on like whether a poster is needed, right? Versus like if it's a partner event where the other involved party already made a flyer, we don't necessarily need to spend time on that. If we could just make sure that stuff is clarified before you're submitting marketing requests, just to help them help you, that would, I think, help things run much more smoothly. And then again, any marketing, like printing related stuff, If it's just 8.5 by 11, you could send us to College Life. If it's posters, that's me and Dennis. So I'm very excited that we're seeing more stuff happening with this group. Just, we want to make sure that it's being put out with correct information, accurate information, and timely, in a timely manner. So however I can help, let me know.
Thank you. Moving on to Senate announcements. Isaac.
By the Student Government Bylaws, Article 6, removal, Section 1, as Vice President, I shall notify the Senate in case of an automatic removal. So I'm gonna do that right now. So Ethan is, based on eligibility requirement, is no longer eligible to be on the Senate. So that also means that it will be an open seat on Senate. So FYI.
Are there any other Senate announcements? Moving on to student trustee announcements.
No, just adding on to like what Adrian said, again, go to the PTA meeting tomorrow, that's so important. Just
Moving on to external shared governance reports. Does anyone have Isaac?
So curriculum met yesterday, and we basically made a setting. So, first of all, Eric, Woodbury, the current co-chair, for curriculum will no longer, serve on co-chair. So Katerina from business, I think, would, become the new co-chair on curriculum. A new rep is needed from that division. Also, they're looking for a new articulation officer, and they need volunteers on that search committee, from curriculum committee. And we are also needing to finally approve 150 more courses cataloged for fall 2024 and 290 about for fall 2025.
Anna?
So police chiefs advisory committee met on October 19th, and they talked about what the main topics were for 2022 and 2023, including one of them being LPRs, which is license plate reader. It is basically a camera that detects all of the cars that come into Foothill. So they have it at Foothill right now, and they want to expand to Dianza this year, hopefully. And also they were talking about the blotter and crime log, which you can view all the cases that were reported to the police in the past year and this year as well. And there is actually a call center for the police, and I've written it down in shared governance report as well. If any student feels unsafe on campus, they can call them and a police officer will help you. And yeah, and run high defense training is also happening. It'll be happening on 7th November as well. And yeah.
Are there any other shared governance reports? I have one. Dining services are met today, and they just continued going over the proposal and also addressed any questions that the members of the committees would have for the proposal. Okay, moving on to internal DHG. Okay.
I have an external shared governance report. SSCCC had a delegate assembly meeting yesterday, on October 24th to discuss, the Halloween contest coming up on Monday, October 30th. We also discussed a request that the assembly was supposed to pass for a Lowly College, regarding representation of student voices. We discussed, pertinent issues. Every delegate discussed pertinent issues at their respective colleges, such as student housing, primarily student housing. And we also talked about forming an external committee, which is the legislative committee, and which delegates would be interested in joining that committee, which was more of an informational item.
Are there any other shared governance reports? Moving on to internal DHG committee reports. Caitlin?
So for marketing, we have official sender intern terms based on area of interest instead of our temporary ones. The video editing workshop, was delayed, so it'll be happening this Thursday, probably over Zoom. We have an editor position open for marketing, which will, the details will be, presented at next meeting, and we have a resource fair post ready.
So programs met yesterday and we talked about how the movie event is going to be postponed to probably next quarter or the quarter after, so. An update that it's just not happening tomorrow, and then we also talked a lot about like the VTA event happening this Friday, and then also homecoming updates, and then we also did some more, we did some intern onboarding. Isaac.
Administrator met, in the day and we talked about election, senator protective hearings and protective resolution. By the way, I forgot to mention to any, interested people here, since election commissioner is now a vacant position. You are welcome to tell your interns or anyone who are interested in applying. But that does mean that if one were to become elected commissioner, they cannot run for next year's election. And that also means that the Senate is no longer full, which is other.
We actually had a question. I think someone brought this up about, so can administration technically be quorum, right?
Yes.
Are there any other?
Yeah, so SRE met today and we further planned and finalized resource fair, which again is happening on Tuesday next week, and we made final changes to the demographic form that we will be presenting today in a few minutes.
Lisa or Joel, do you have anything from your groups?
Full updates.
Jill? Okay. Moving on to the first business item, this is the fall 2023 DASG Senator demographic form. This item is to introduce and complete the Senate demographic form for fall 2023. So Hannah and Megan, would you like to come up and present this?
So hi, everyone. So as you all probably know, because of the diversity seat conversations that we were having previously, we brought into effect the demographic for a survey from last year, which was done at the beginning of Senate, and then at the beginning of the year, and then also at the end of the year, which we plan to do this year as well. And we would really, really, really appreciate if all of you could bring out the form right now. I send it on Senate chat and fill it out as I speak. I'm just going to tell you about what it will be used for. First of all, I just want to say it will be anonymous, so we won't be getting information from you unless you state you want us to know your contact information at the end. And then this is for the diversity. So how we will be doing this is we will be working with the equity office. Obviously, it is kind of unclear at the moment of how exactly we will do it, but we know that we will be working on it with the equity office for specific statistics on our student body. Because we have acknowledged the fact that there are many groups on campus that are not represented in our Senate, and we hope that it is through diversity seats. So yeah, as much as the information you are comfortable with providing, we would really appreciate. Because we do want to be very clear with how our Senate looks at the moment and how we want it to look ideally. But yeah, if you have any questions while filling out the survey, or you have any edits that you would hope for us to make for the survey at the end of the year, please mention it at the end of the survey. We have a question for that as well. But yeah.
I think we can take like 5 minutes
Yeah.
to do the survey, and then once everyone is done.
Yeah.
It'll only take like 3 to 5 minutes, so it'd be good. I'll just take this time right now to do it. That would be great.
Oh yeah, question.
What's the purpose of doing it?
So it's the purpose is basically one for the diversity seats, but also to kind of see how diverse our Senate is. Because our main like hope is for the Senate to be as diverse as possible, right? Ideally represent like the major groups or the groups on campus that do exist. But yeah, so pretty much, yeah.
But there is quite a few groups on campus that
They-
exist that are not represented in Senate.
That's very true.
So
That's why we are hoping for the diversity seats, but again, it is unfortunate that there are only 5, and then as Isaac said, right now, our Senate is not full, so we will only be able to work on the diversity seats after it is full. So if we get like a replacement for the empty position, then yeah.
According to the bylaw, the diversity seats can only be filled if the Senate.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not full.
So that this is definitely a process that will take some time because it's not full at the moment. After it is full, then we will work on it with the equity office, like I said earlier.
Just adding on to like why we should take it, this gives quantifiable data of like what Senate is and who makes up Senate. So it just makes it, when there is that quantifiable data, it's easier to justify who should get and who shouldn't get the diversity.
Yeah, and again, yeah, it is unfortunate that we only have 5, and the entire process of like having diversity seats is harsh sometimes, because obviously, again, ideally we would want all the groups on campus to be represented, but that's very again hard for us to do as a Senate itself.
This is the survey for it's related to the diversity feature. So you guys come up with like a criteria or what? Not yet.
So this is something that Senate as a whole has to do as well, and it has existed for many years, but our Senate has never ever been full before this year. So it comes into play after it is full, and at the moment, as you heard, it's not full. So after that specific position is filled, then it will be full, and then we can work forward. But right now we will just be using this data as a whole, not individual responses, for just seeing how well we are doing from past year. So comparing results. Because yeah, it was a main aim last year as well to diversify the Senate, and I hope that it came into play as well throughout the results we see from this survey. So yeah, we really hope that everyone does respond, and we will probably be like giving a lot of announcements if we don't have the specific number that we require. So yeah. Any more questions?
Does anyone need like more time to finish the survey? Okay. Like maybe.
Oh, and one more thing I do want to mention, it is written in the description, but I do want to like restate that we will not be looking at responses individually. Even if we do take it to equity office, they will just look at it as a whole. So the information is very like, we know that this is like personal information for you, and we appreciate you filling it out to your best ability. But yeah, it won't be like open information individually as well. So when we do look at it, it will be as a whole. So like a collective response.
If you need more time to fill the survey, could you raise your hand if there's anyone? I think everyone here.
Thank you so much, everyone. We received a lot of responses. I appreciate you.
So we'll be moving on to the second business item, which is the class modality discussion updates. I just have one update that I wanted to show you all. So I met with Christina and also Mallory, and we'll be working with college research and planning to put out a college-wide survey, which is specifically asking how students want to take their classes for the winter and spring quarters. So this is the survey that we have drafted out right now. So we can go through it and see if anyone has any questions or suggestions before we put this out. So this first question is just asking if the student is planning to enroll. And I don't think does anyone have any questions or comments on this question?
Could you say that?
Oh. Are there any questions? This is about 9 questions long, by the way. So the second question, it's also not on modality, it's just for demographics and other things. Caitlin?
Do you guys have that link on the agenda section? I can't find it.
No, I just got it today.
Oh, that's rather.
So, okay, this one says, what is your primary reason for not returning to the end of in the winter or spring quarter? So this is if you answered the previous question that you're not planning to enroll.
Okay, but what if you do plan to enroll? Will this question still come up?
No. Hopefully not. I'll check again. And the next question, the way that we plan to figure out like what departments that students want classes for. I know a lot of you suggested doing it by department, but what we figured out is that if we ask, say, do you want more classes in psychology and anthropology for specific departments like that, the sample size will be too small to get any data. So we decided to do it by Guided Pathways Village. So they'll be selecting the majority of their classes, and also that you'll see in the next question, they'll be asked their secondary sort of village where they're enrolled in the most classes. So this one is asking which village this respondent will be taking most of their courses in winter or spring quarter. And they have listed the 6 villages plus what classes each village offers. Are there any questions for this? Okay, moving on, there's going to be two of these questions. This is the first one, and then each of these sort of village questions will be asking their preferred modality. So they get to choose their first option and second option for how they would like to see their class scheduled. So there's online only, on campus only, hybrid. And I was going to ask, what's the difference between hybrid and a mix of classes? Because this is asking specifically for one class, so I'll be asking about that. But are there any other questions or comments for any of these three questions? Matthew?
I just wanted to clarify if online only means fully asynchronous, because especially for the third option, which is hybrid, most classes on campus have a Canvas page. Even if they're like 99% on campus. So I was wondering like how those kind of classes would be answered.
Yeah, so online only means like there's nothing held on campus. This includes asynchronous and synchronous classes.
Okay.
And for what you've mentioned, on campus classes having like a Canvas page, that doesn't count as any sort of online option.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Moving on to the next question, this is their second choice or rest of their courses. I think we weren't planning to ask for top 3 villages because that would increase the length of the survey. But this is the same selections. And there's also an option if you're not planning to take any classes outside the village that you identified in the previous question. And again, it's asking your first and second option for how you would like your class modality. Are there any questions? And then they ask in these last questions, your preferred modality if you were to take an online only course. So this is asynchronous, synchronous, mixed, or 2 other options for not a format. And this is sort of a question that these surveys need to ask if students need assistance with student services, technology, or financial aid, which isn't related to what will be gathered from the data. And this is a follow-up if the student does request any sort of support, which is also not part of the modality data. And this is also demographic data, which is just asked of every survey and not part of any sort of modality. And that's the end of the survey. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
How will the survey be sent out?
Yeah, so we're still planning it out, but I think there was a survey last year in the fall, and I believe we're planning to administer it about the same way. So it'll be sent out to every student enrolled at De Anza with a valid email address. I think last year it was about 14,000 students, and the amount of students who answered last year were 2,800. So we'll plan to administer it through that the same way. They'll be sending out like reminders. And also I'm hoping to get this something that DASG works more on. So maybe in your office hours, which we'll be talking about more. And also in the resource fair and any other tabling, we'll also be asking DASG senators to promote this survey to your students. Are there any other questions? You can let me know if you have any other questions with this survey, and I'll be responding about our feedback today. And one more thing, this survey should be going out very soon. And depending on what data we gather, maybe we get like what we have now, 50% online, 50% in person, or any other changes. Christina did say like the results of this survey, she could have. She could talk to the deans of all the departments and it could impact the winter scheduling. So seeing that there are no other questions, we'll be moving on to the next business item. This is election updates. So this is just to cover the general elections happening in the winter and fall quarter in the in-person.
Hi, everyone. It's me again. Before everything, let me find the scheduling. I don't remember what the date was. But as you might probably know, we need help. Okay. And so we have our fall info sessions already planned out on the date. But I need you guys' support to be in the fall info session so that we can actually hold the info session. Okay, so currently, the info sessions should be, just a second, I'm trying to find it. Okay. So, the fall, for the fall info session time, it would be on week 6 and week 7 of the fall quarter. And that means it would be on, I think 2 weeks, 2 weeks from now. So we're planning to have fall info sessions all Monday through Thursday, from basically November 6th all the way to November 16th. So these are 6 of the dates here. It's just here on in the campus center in the chambers. And you don't have the Monday dates and the time here, but the Monday times would be 10 to 11 in the morning. But I need you guys help to like actually come here because I don't think I can do these times. So first of all, a raise of hands that you're interested in coming and help the administration committee. And you get to earn billed hours. So any raise of hands, please. Okay, anyone that can miss any of these times. You guys can do that, right?
Send them out. He's gonna send them out in the Discord announcements and you can react to which sessions you're in.
I will send it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 options. You guys are very welcome to join. It's easy work. Presentation. I'll have the slides, hopefully. If I remember. And then so that's that. And you get filled hours. Remember, 8 filled hours per quarter. So that's one of the good ways to earn. Even if it's not an hour, I'll just count it as an hour. So you know.
You can do that. I think, is it mandatory that everybody sign up for at least one?
No, it's not really. But I do need some help. So yeah, so that's that. And then I guess I'll just go over the fall the general election schedule because I think we're supposed to announce it. So I might as well announce it to the Senate. So I haven't set the winter time schedule for the info sessions yet, but it's gonna be, I believe, week 3 and week 4 of the winter quarter. And the application deadline is on February 5th, 2024, by 4 p.m. And the mandatory candidates orientation is this time, and there's a makeup if you can't meet that one. Campaigning and voting begins February 26th, Monday. So it's gonna be pretty early. And the debate, if you guys remember from last year, is from February 28th. And voting and campaigning ends at March 8th, 2024. And I think the election results should be posted by March 21st. And so that's that. Do you have any questions about the scheduling of the fall of the elections or anything?
Did you talk about how you're gonna market the info sessions?
Yeah, so the marketing request is sent out every week, Caitlin, and we should receive it by November 1st, so we have a week to promote it.
And is there gonna be any targeted marketing and outreach to certain groups and communities?
I was gonna talk with FRD about that, but I have not talked about it yet. We can talk about it like later.
Okay. When is the first info session?
So it would be on November 6th. It's not written here.
It's the week and a half right
yeah.
now.
So that's that. Any questions?
Let me just comment on this. This is the one thing that every year we kind of struggle with, and I know that many of you use the platform when you signed up to be a senator to figure out how to better represent us to the wider student constituencies and making sure that we have a wider representation on our Senate. So this is the time to act now. Use your field hours, use your office hours, do whatever you can to do the outreach to try to get as many students involved in this process. I was recently a part of like a students experience panel, and I asked them, had they ever considered running for Senate? And then some of the students said yes, but they were so intimidated by it. They didn't really know the process. And so that's part of what I would love for all of you to do is to do the outreach. If students have questions, Lydia and I actually talked about you all tabling every day upstairs for just a couple hours. You can use that as part of your office hours because, you know, if you've been here in the afternoons, there's tons of students upstairs. And where are we? We're down here in the dungeon, right? So we need to be where the students are. Okay, so that would be another great area that we can promote the elections and get students excited, get them interested in applying to be a senator next year. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm counting on you guys. If the election, the votes count doesn't get up, I'm blaming myself too. So yeah, so that's elections. Any other comments or questions or anything?
One thing I would suggest that you do is I can start filling that out, and if you're not getting people to sign up, I would start just assigning folks, okay? Because you all, I would recommend that you all sign up for at least one info session, because we should ideally have 2 or 3, because you're all presenting the info session. It's scripted, so it's fairly straightforward. But we should have 2 or 3 people signed up for each session at least,
And
right?
I want to add on that I would recommend every position have their own, like, they at least come to one info session just to have people know about your role and what you do. So get that.
I had a quick question. I know that there's like a lot of talk about like kind of, you know, adding position or maybe tweaking the Senate structure a bit for next year. So would that like, what's the timeline for that and how's it?
Well, that's gonna be internal, right?
Yeah, that's not.
That's the spring quarter thing, I think. I mean, obviously, we're trying to look into it, and I know that we have friends for like 4 things, and we have feedbacks from everyone. But I probably agree, we should probably talk a bit more about that with everyone, and we can see what we can do. Any other questions?
One more thing, something I think that we did from past years, and not just for candidates, is that DASG senators will typically like go to their classroom and do a presentation promoting elections. So aside from just helping out in the info sessions, if everyone could also work on that too, I think they should be sending out more information about all the promotional stuff and things you should be mentioning in your classroom presentations. So, Hannah.
Would that count as field hours?
Yeah.
1 whole hour?
Huh?
Would it count as 1 whole hour?
If explain, elaborate.
Because like, if you're giving a presentation in class, I don't know how long that takes. Would that count as half an hour?
Wow.
Maybe that's 45 minutes.
We're hitting 4 classes. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you already said this, but are they only in person or is there a Zoom option as well?
It's gonna be in person, but I'll probably have a Zoom set up. No, you're not gonna be on the Zoom. You're gonna be in person.
Are there any other questions? If not, we'll be moving on to our last business item, which is the discussion on articulation and transferability on plastic.
Yeah, no, hi, me again. So I want to talk about like articulation and transferability of courses. And I was talking with Thomas, who is the Associate Vice President of Instruction. And I know, like, as a student myself, I wanted to pick some classes here, but the thing is, it's just not offered, or it's not transferable. Or you're wondering, why does this course at Foothill transfer, but the course at the end it does not, right? Have you guys had that experience? If you have, like, raise up your hand at that, right? I think a lot of people, especially in like CS, we had that issue, right? We go to like different courses, different colleges, just to take one specific course to get that minimal boost or whatever you call it. And I wanted to bring it up to Senate today, just because I want to get your guys' feedback, because I don't know all the subjects, right? There are a lot of subjects at the end that are like, somehow like, just maybe could be improved in a way that like, in terms of transferability, or it's just not offered, or not offered enough. So I can bring it back to Thomas when I meet with him sometime soon. So, I just want to hear like what your guys' thoughts are on like, oh, is there like a specific course that you want to bring up that you feel like, oh, why doesn't it transfer, or why doesn't it articulate, or some sort? And I will provide that feedback. So anyone want to start? I see that hand.
So I know for CES, the one that comes to mind the most, at least for me, I don't know if this is like such a big issue because it's only to one school, but I know that in particular has come up a lot of trouble when it comes to Berkeley CS articulations, and I think because of like the quarter semester kind of thing. So for example, I think the biggest one is probably the assembly class that we have, 21JA. For some reason, it's the exact same class, but because we're on the quarter system, it doesn't like articulate at all. But then our data structures class kind of articulates to Berkeley, so it's kind of like, it's kind of weird. That's why a lot of people, like, if you go to like the official DANZ or Reddit, and you go to like the very first pinned com site guide is like, take it at DVC, which is like, it really shouldn't be that way, right? And then there's another one where for some reason the data structures at Foothill, what is that called? There's this class called CIS 28, which is kind of hard to get in the DANZ. Like it's like offered like weirdly, like it might be offered one quarter, it might not be offered another quarter. If you take the equivalency of 22C at Foothill, that completely covers the UCSD CIS 28 requirement. But if you just take 22C of the ANZA, you have to take 28. So it's kind of like, well, why? So I don't know. There's just like little weird things here and there. But I think those are the two that come to mind.
Let's hear about other subjects.
Yeah.
What other subjects?
I'm just gonna continue on with that one. First, yeah, 21JB for San Diego, I think. I haven't checked it because I'm not really applying to San Diego anymore. But I know San Diego needs like a ton more classes compared to like maybe Foothill.
Any other field?
For engineering, I think engineering 35 statics transfers over, but you know, if the Foothills transfers over to UCLA, but Kansas, I think it was written like rejected for articulation explicitly.
That's any something else CS engineering? More diverse.
I have a question, like, why do some courses transfer over from Foothill and not the end? So like, why does the discrepancy even exist?
That's a great question. That's why I want to ask him.
Have you not asked them?
I asked him.
What did he
said
say?
schedule a meeting, so I'm waiting.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
For econ majors, like that's a bit different. For UCLA, there are like a lot of classes that aren't offered at the end of slash are just not articulated. That's like the microeconomic theory and stats for econ. So microeconomic theory and then probability and statistics for economists, whatever. I think that's also one, because I feel like a lot of people who go to Gienza are like forced to do BusyCon, which some people might not like to, but due to the nature of.
Is that person articulated or
Check.
is if it's like a lot of some courses like are not articulated in like every group. But I'm not sure on that. Benjamin, I saw your hand. So you wanna-
I think this is kind of a dumb question, but some of the end of like AP score credits is as long as it's a 3, it's articulated, but if you do like UCLA or like an Ivy, it's usually like 4 or 5s. And
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. Anna?
I don't know if this is related, but is there like a connection between, like articulation and transferable courses with like how, what has to happen, we don't?
That's another question. Okay, so TAP, I brought it up. So TAP is based on the honors program at Foothill, and it's two unrelated things. Now, as to why this Foothill has TAP and we don't, that's a great question. But for transferability itself, no, TAP does not play a role.
What about like connection to privates instead? Because I know for me, I mean, I'm not applying privates either, but I think just the process of trying to figure it out, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
So what are you doing?
So like, you know, for like UC to CSU, it's kind of like, oh, if I take this course, I go over there. If I want to go like SCU or something, I don't know what courses can come in.
Yeah, that requires it's out of college.
Yeah, but I mean, like, could there be like some kind of like connection?
You can go to the official website. I know Michigan offers, you can look Michigan the end and see what courses are transferred. But
SCU.
the other check.
Also one thing we mentioned was the thing that like Foothill's like way better at, definitely like I just pulled up like their website for like articulation to have like all the courses which are out of state, like all the schools that are out of state listed over here. Yeah. So that's one of the things. I mean, it would be nice to have a website just like dedicated for that. And second of all, I also know they have an agreement with Cornell for civil engineering. So just like one other thing like that. I mean, if we could do that.
Okay, I thought Hannah had her hand raised.
That was me.
Okay, who may?
Can I respond to what Ian said? So you mentioned Santa Clara University, right?
Mhm.
I believe that we do on our website, it's kind of hidden, so I can send you the link, but I believe that we do have an articulation agreement with them or some type of agreement. Some type of transfer agreement that is really hidden, something that I really had to look to find. But I just wanted to add on to that and say that it doesn't seem like we really have like a lot of transfer expertise in terms of like applying to private schools. Like I have asked certain counselors for like information or for that expertise and knowledge, and I haven't really been offered that. As someone who's not only applying to UCs and CSUs and possibly applying to out of state public and private universities, I think we should have more of that. So if you could maybe bring that up with Thomas Ray, that would be great. Just more like maybe transfer counseling would be nice.
Okay,
Because I don't think we have. We don't have articulation agreements, like as many as we could. Especially with like tag is very limited, it's not offered for UC Berkeley, UC San Diego and UCLA. And then also looking at possible like agreements. With private schools, because if I wanted to see if I could transfer my courses over for my major, I would have to reach out to the school individually. And nobody at my school can offer me that information,
that's good.
because it's simply not there.
Adrian?
So one thing that I noticed, like, so I actually pulled up on this my, like, it just, look, but when I was like filling out, like, what classes that I should take, it's like, select one course from the following, and then Dianza only has like literally only one of them. So it's like, while most of them are like no course articulated, so it'd be nice to have more options for like environmental classes. Like, it listed, they had like Americans in the Global Forest, fire, past, present, and future interaction with people, ecosystems of California, introduction to culture and natural resource management. And then like we have intro to environmental law, that's the other option. So it's like, I'm taking environmental law because that's all that DNSA has, even though the other courses seem really interesting too. Same thing, like we don't have a class like on the biosphere or environmental biology. Like we do have like an environmental biology, but we don't have like the same ones that are listed. So it's like, yeah. Same with like, we don't have any intro to the science of living organisms. So, yeah, there's a lot of environmental courses listed on my transfer agreement that I just do not have the option of taking at
It's
DNSA.
no courses articulated, right?
Yeah, no courses are
Just to add on to what Adrian said, that's a really important point, I think, because when I was majoring in data science earlier this year, I was looking at the articulation agreements for like, I believe it was with Berkeley. And there were two courses, I think it was Stat 20 and Data 8, advanced data structures, I think, or data algorithm 1 and 2, and then an advanced statistics course that is not offered at DNSA at all. And I don't know if it's offered at Quill, but the only college like within the Bay Area that I could find it in was Community College of San Francisco. And it's like, most of us can't commute up there, and I checked, they didn't have it, at least this quarter in fall, they didn't have it virtually, it was in person. So that makes it really difficult because data science is becoming a more popular major, not just specifically for STEM majors, but also for humanities majors as well. So like, it would be nice to maybe introduce those courses. I did talk to a professor who's been here for a long time, who's now retired, and he mentioned briefly that Stat 20 was offered, but there wasn't enough student interest for the course. Because it's like a higher level advanced engineering math course, basically.
Yeah, both of those classes are also listed on my articulation agreement as options to take instead of calculus, but because they're not offering it,
Yeah, so it might be articulated, but it's not offered or has limited offering.
Exactly, that's my bad, yeah, sorry, bad wording, but it's not, it's not offered.
It says no course articulated on mine for both of those classes.
Really? Oh, for DNSA, yeah, same.
Yeah, for Stat C8 Foundations of Data Science and Stat 20 Introduction to Probability.
Quick question, is articulated the same as offered, or are they different? Because I feel like it's the same, is it the same thing, Isaac?
Huh?
Articulated and offered, like, is
No.
that the same thing or is it?
No.
Okay, yeah, because it's not articulated, you're right, it's, that course doesn't even like exist at the end of, which is sad, because data science is becoming a more popular major. It's like, why do those courses not exist?
A lot of useful feedback, so I'm gonna ask him, hopefully I can get a response. Food from them. So, any other questions, comments, things that you want me to bring up? Okay.
I have a question, so is it possible, for DeAnza, like DeAnza's academic department, I don't know how this would like practically work out. But for DeAnza's like academic department to collaborate with Foothill possibly, to like offer courses that aren't articulated at DeAnza, but are articulated at Foothill? Like, is that a possible suggestion that you could make?
I don't get your question.
Like, to get the course that's offered at Foothill, to like maybe bring that instructor and bring that course to DeAnza?
I think that's why, that's kind of like the benefit as like two community colleges, so it's easier for us to pick classes at another school. But as to like, you telling the instructor to come here and teach, it's hard, and it depends on the instructor too.
Or maybe like allow students to go enroll, at least, because I know that there's students who go to both campuses. But I, as a student personally who doesn't drive, it's gonna take me 2 hours to get to Foothills campus, especially at the ends of my main campus. And that's like my total commute time every day.
Yeah, that's a transportation.
It's very impractical.
Yeah, I agree, that's why we want a bus line, yeah.
Okay, but when?
DJ forum.
Yeah, come say that. Tomorrow's open.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Chris?
I have like a question. But like, if the class isn't offered here, like at Dianza or articulated here, does it show you the option that it's available at Foothill? Like when you're doing your classes or whatever, or do you think
Like
it?
where?
No, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't
No.
So you just have to manually look through the community colleges to see if it's available anywhere.
No,
You have to search, man.
it's a lot of work. Okay.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to mention? Moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments today? Adrian?
Come to the PTA tomorrow. PM tomorrow. I hope to see all of you there.
I do have, sorry, are you on public comments?
Yeah.
I just want to make clear, I didn't catch this until now, but I'm afraid the Spooktacular is not an approved event. If anyone there is involved with that, if you can check with me as soon as possible. I sent an email to the clubs, but it is not an approved event. The ticket sales are not approved. Please check with me as soon as possible. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Megan?
Active Lines is hosting an event tomorrow in the main hall from 11:30 to 1:30. We're giving out free flowers, and we're also gonna be making cards for, citizens and psychiatric units. So we have,
Seeing no further public comments, we'll be moving on to advisory.
Just see me before you leave if you want a sweatshirt.
Maritza or Dana, would you have any other advisor announcements? Okay, moving on to Senate announcements. Moving on to Senate announcements. Just for the sweatshirts, make sure you get the size that you put in the form because I ordered the exact number of sizes, so don't take someone else's size.
Yeah, and you won't be able to, but if it's smaller or bigger than you like, then you're gonna have to negotiate with somebody else. So you get the size that you told us, okay?
Enough?
I just wanted to say, please, sign up for the DSG Cable on Research Fair. Because we really don't have any sanitizers lined up yet, and it's on Tuesday, so yeah, from 11 to 2, but it's like set up and clean up as well. So,
Chris?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm working right now with Power Cup Coffee on a DSG and Power Cup collaboration where we make signature drinks. So if anybody has any drink recommendations, let me know. This will also be in partnership with Mentors and ICC, so let them know as well too.
Ian?
Yeah, so just a reminder for when all of you kind of attend your shared governances, if you could drop a reminder to the people in the shared governance that the DASG budget applications are open and due November 6th, so if they can get that in, that would be great.
Any other Senate announcements? Also, one more thing for the sweaters, if you already have one from last year, you don't get another one.
Why not? What if I lost mine or it has a hole?
What if I lost mine during the pre-market?
If we have to order some more, I'm sure we can.
Yeah, but for right now, if you have one from before, you can't take another one with. Okay, student announcements.
Yeah, remember this, when you do the budget deliberation, you all decide how much money you put towards your own promotional stuff, so. You don't give yourself enough money, that's.
Moving on to introduction and approval of prospective senators, we do have a current vacancy in the Senate. So if you're interested in running for the position of elections commissioner, you can put your name down and the Senate, number of Senate meetings you've been to. And if you're interested in running for this position, you must already be an intern in the administration committee. So is there anyone interested in putting the name down, Chris? Wait.
It can be.
No,
No.
according to the bylaws, it's written. It's written according to the bylaws. I can't change it.
Yeah.
I can change it, but it's, right now it's not.
So is there anyone interested in running for this position? No, okay, moving on to adjournment, I adjourn this meeting at 5:11 p.m.
Oh, guys, quick note, hi, everyone, hi. Hi. So, next Wednesday, we're gonna take pictures with the sweater, so remember to bring your sweater.
Attention! Thank you.
Thank you. Next week,